Good
Hello,
morning.
good morning. How are you?
Doing fine. You?
All good, all good. It's Friday. I'm looking forward to the weekend so I can work on the things I've been postponing the whole week.
I'm looking for the weekend to not to work. This week
Okay.
was too intense. I need to stop a little in
Mm-hmm.
order to understand my perspective because when you work like 5 days from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. because of the time differences between people I work,
Oh
it's
God.
getting
Yeah.
it's getting crazy because we
No.
have
No.
3 hour lag between our friends
Mm-hmm.
in European zone and the
Mm-hmm.
American zone. Sometimes I need to work until 4 a.m. So it's exhausting sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. I'm looking forward to crack on with the session. Let's just stand by for Ada a bit. I'm also a bit concerned because I usually just do the free session for 40 minutes and then Zoom cuts us off. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's counting from the first time I started a room or from this one, but we can also, this is a bit more informal. So I wanted to keep the room open now because I had been promoting this to a number of communities and maybe someone shows up. So let's just keep it open for a bit. And if the call drops and we need to resume, we can go into the same link.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, pardon. So, what do you want to do while we wait for Ada? Do you want to start talking about your expectations and what brings you to this course? By the way, I'm already recording, so if you're okay, we just drop this all the way to YouTube for.
No, no, it doesn't matter for me. Hey, YouTube. I have a lot of expectations from Cardano
Cool.
and trying to understand its environment and its perspective actually because it's so new for me. I'm still in the way of understanding how can I bring my perspective to Cardano on how can they, what can its information gives me. I
What
don't know.
Cardano can do for you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool because I've worked in IT a lot of many years. I've worked in finance, so I understand the numbers as well. And before I did both those things, I used to like art and coding with like digital programming, generating images. And so now I feel like in Cardano, I can find ways to not profit, but at least work and try to be sustainable on a bit of everything. Yeah. So maybe we can. I'm gonna start sharing my screen.
I'm writing Ada right now.
Mm-hmm. So maybe I can leave this part to show you later, and we can start working here on the Miro board, which is something that yesterday I was starting a cohort with the Portuguese class, and we didn't even get to this part. But with you guys, maybe we can start with this. So also, I've already started here a space for you for the possible Turkish cohort that you're going to start. And in the English one, so what I'm going to do, have you ever seen this document?
Yeah, I looked
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. I keep showing you things, sorry. And then I ask for the 10th
Good
time.
validation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Now I'm making a mistake here. What did I do? Control Z. Okay. So I'm just trying to get these, and hopefully if I do Alt drag, I can duplicate them all, but I didn't bring the board again. It's not going that well. Maybe this way. And this should be not too bad. So you're liking to use Miro as well, or is it still
I like
tricky?
Miro.
Yeah,
No, it's fine. I like it. You can do a
great.
bunch of stuff.
I'm doing a bunch of wrong stuff at the moment. But yeah, Okay, so what can we start dropping on our board that we would like to try in Cardano? Like the main things here. Can you think of, what can you think of for the, so the first things we're going to do probably is create a wallet and little more, a bit like we have there. So create a NAMI wallet, fund it from the faucet. I'm not really sure what we're going to be able to do on pre-production testnet because Game Changer is not there on the pre-production. So we won't be able to do this part. Maybe we can
What's the
do
game
this
changer?
somewhere else. Game Changer is an alternative wallet, and it's usually quite good, especially on the networks where it works, because it allows you to create your own NFT. So you put in an image and you create an NFT with just clicks and no code. So the thing is, we either save this to do it on mainnet and we create a real NFT spending real ADA, or we need to find an alternative wallet that can do this type of thing.
In Cardano space, you need, am I gonna need two different kind of wallets in order to get benefit from them?
I would say so because, well, the main one for me is Eternal, but it's what I usually call technically transparent. And the technically transparent for me is good because it shows me all the little things that are happening. But for users, it's very intense. So I'm not going to open my personal one here. Maybe I can open from another entity from a previous cohort. So this one. Yeah, we go. So this is from the first English cohort. And you see the difference there. You have Eternal. And let's just load it for a second. And I'm going to show you some other one that I found recently, although it's very, very common, but I only tried it recently, called Flint. So Flint is quite user-friendly. So I think it's the best of both worlds, user-friendly and flexible and functional, although it's a bit slow, as you can see. It also has this tricky thing where it's just showing me the dollar part there, but then I see here I have 37 Cardano on my wallet. This is mainnet. And then I have Pina Colada and Pudgy tokens that I got from drip drops. And so these are just offer tokens. And I have some gimbals because of the work I did in Gimbalabs. And I sent 10 gimbals to a friend. That's why I don't have an even number. And that's it. So it's quite good. You can send, receive, etc. You can even see your NFTs. I have a painting here. Let's see if it opens. Yeah, I bought this one for a few tens of ADA. And so this is, so it actually shows me the collection of 3 arts that I have. And yeah, if you see it from the Eternal side, I have 2 personal wallets. Actually, I have the same wallet here, which is a mainnet one. And you see it's a lot more ugly and technical, but it's also a lot more informative. So this one, I would say, would be halfway to going to a something like Sea Explorer. You've seen these types of websites as well, where you can query the blockchain. And so now, for example, I get this address from here, and I drop it there on mainnet, and it's going to show me the details for my address in a sec. I think maybe we should start without Ada. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think
I
you
wrote to
getting
her.
yeah?
Yeah, I wrote to her, and they are trying to find some silent place, but I'm not sure
Hmm.
the timing.
It's yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
Is she with another
she's here.
colleague as well? You said
She's here.
they?
Yeah, Bichaka.
Okay.
Hello. It's a bit
Hello.
noisy here. Sorry for being late.
No, it's nice to see you. We can make it.
All good? So let me just see. We have Ada and Little Fish, MJ. So let me just stop sharing my screen. Right. Can you hear us okay? Yeah. So if you can just unmute when you need to talk, that would be great. I'm going to start. The beginning of the session is going to be sort of an introduction to the initiative of Cardano for Non-Technicals. As you know, this is the second cohort that we are going to run, and I hope we get some more colleagues to work with you. Hopefully we can keep this timing as well on Fridays at 10 UTC, but let's keep in touch about that. So I have some notes here. In terms of introducing myself, my name is Lucas. It's Pedro Lucas, but my friends just call me Lucas, so that's my standard calling name. And I've been working in IT and accountancy and finance, data viz for up to 20 years or more. Since I was a very, very young kid, I liked data structures and things like those. So I think crypto clicked for me in a very easy way when I started understanding the reasons for it. 3 years ago, I quit traditional finance, where I was working in wealth management with DataViz. 2 years ago, I found crypto. 7 months ago, I fell into Cardano because I quit just the trading part and started to come on chain, because as a technical person, developer, and a business analyst, I can make my career in here. Yeah, I just mentioned a business analyst. So that's the type of person that works, they can talk with the business and go to the meetings and understand what software needs to do on a workflow and diagrams level, but can also come to the database side and see how everything needs to fit together. So that's me in a nutshell. And now in Cardano, I'm collaborating with a number of communities, as you know, Little Fish, Gimbalabs, a few more. And yeah, even out of those communities, I don't want to fit into just one of them, and I'm starting my own business or consultancy, which I'm going to call 45B. And 45B is it has to do with the 45 billion of ADA that are ever going to exist. 45B. So the 3 pillars of 45B are going to be learn, manage, and build. And for the learning part, which is where I'm going to start my activity more, I'm going to be leading trainings for companies, for partners, for communities in this level. So these sessions for me are like a pilot project of what I want to do professionally for clients and partners and communities. Yeah, so I think you agree that there is a lot of need for training for non-technicals. We are coming from the inside of the Cardano communities where everyone is building, but I usually say we're going to need hundreds or thousands of users for each developer. So that's what I want to make the base of my activity, and then the help manage, so managing portfolios in a company, receiving payments in ADA, holding ADA in your balance sheet, and then building your own website where you can do more complicated things like helping artists create their NFT collections and build a website that goes with it, all that. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. Now I have a document here that I wanted to show you, and the title of this little bit of the presentation is Why Bitcoin, Why Cardano? So let me share my screen. And where is it? Here we go. So this is something that I put together recently. You have the links for everything, even through the link tree. You're going to be able to see almost everything that I'm showing you. And I just put this together because this interview that I was watching started comparing fiat, which is dollars, euros, and etc., with Bitcoin, and saying these are two different versions of money. So they said this is something different versions. And I started extending that line of thought to think, okay, if Bitcoin is version something, before we had fiat, before we had gold, and even before we had commodities, merchandise, cattle, or salt, or anything that human beings used to exchange at the beginning of mankind. So expanding here, we can also say that Bitcoin is V1 and Ethereum was V2, or first generation, second generation, and Cardano is third generation cryptocurrency or blockchain. And then we have the shit coins, but let's not talk much about those. So why do I end up in Cardano? To start with, if you compare fiat with Bitcoin, they're similar in some aspects, where currently you can even pay in Bitcoin almost everywhere if you have a Visa card through Binance or something, but you can pay in pure Bitcoin in some specific shops that take Lightning Network or even on-chain transactions. Now, one thing that I've highlighted here, which is the most important factor about Bitcoin, is that fiat currencies keep being devaluated. Maybe not 1 year. Now we have inflation at 5%, 6, 7%. Some people say that off the books, off the record, it's almost 15%. And that means that every year your same $1,000 are losing purchase power. So they're being devaluated because governments keep issuing more fiat currency. With Bitcoin, it is still being issued, but it's going to tend to zero new Bitcoin. And so it's going to stabilize to a certain number, which is 21 million. And that's why if you think of buying a bit of Bitcoin, you know that 30 years from now, you're still going to have that amount, and it's not going to be deflated because of I don't know if deflated is a term, so it's not going to be devaluated because of people issuing more Bitcoin. So this is why Bitcoin, why crypto in general, or solid cryptos, as you can see here, Cardano and Bitcoin have that in common. But then when you want to work in Web3, it's a lot more interesting to be working in Cardano than to be working in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin maxis say that they can also do smart contracts and intelligent money to have advanced use cases where you can have crypto banks, crypto loans, all those things. But the de facto standard currently is Ethereum. And I believe that Cardano is going to be even more robust in the future years. Okay. Any questions before I close this part?
In order with decentralization, why you say that Bitcoin is most decentralized right now?
Well, this is something that I'm still maturing, but yeah, I have a colleague here that's going to help enrich a bit this part. I think Bitcoin is the most established one in terms of having the miners around the world and having so many thousands of different entities mining it. But yeah, it is a bit debatable for whether for Bitcoin or for Cardano, which one is the most decentralized. Here, I'm also saying it's still maturing because it can change a bit the parameters for the stake pools. And we're going to get into this a bit further ahead inside the course. So yeah, currently, I think these two are the most decentralized in overall crypto, but I'm not sure which is going to be. Yeah, if we mature this content here, I'm not absolutely sure.
We can't foresee right now.
Yeah.
So they are still building.
And it's a bit like in Ethereum, for example, there are stakeholders that are running different pools, and therefore they eventually, even if it's, I saw some presentation the other day where you can even have 3 pools, but if instead of thinking of them per pool, if you think of entities and stakeholders owning those pools, parent companies, let's say, it's centralized. And so in Bitcoin, we may have that effect a bit as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, but I'm still trusting Cardano to build on, especially because I think the technology that we have here is more robust. So yeah, it's a matter of if we're talking about investing your savings or if you're investing your career, it's completely different conversations. But just seeing it from the technological side, I think this is the place to be because it inspires from Bitcoin. It has what we call the UTXO model. We're going to see what it is in terms of recording the balances going from people to people. Yeah, Ethereum is completely different. I'm really just ignoring it, which is a bit what everyone else does to Cardano. But because I'm Cardano native, I am deciding to stay on this stack of technology.
I want to learn the technology of Cardano and what's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Because
Sure.
if the technology behind it changes everything, I want to learn that.
Okay.
To understand the logic,
Mhm.
to explain others in future.
So,
Why it is like that.
okay. Maybe I shouldn't have stopped sharing my screen. So what I want you guys to start doing is later, or you already have access to this. I can send you the link for editing. So what I want you to start doing here is drop a sticky note here in saying exactly what you said. Understand between Bitcoin, let's just say BTC, ETH, and ADA. Okay. So this is the process that I wanted us to have going forward, where we ideate on something, we just drop some ideas in here, then we do some research and we drop some sticky notes with links for this topic. Then we present it to each other, we do some hands-on experiments, and yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to experiment everything in Cardano because I'm an artist and I have a lot of assets, but maybe I don't want to put them as an NFT in the future because maybe NFT will be an old concept like 2 years. I don't know. I want to explore how can they be used on Cardano environment with Cardano people, like an asset you are buying and forgetting in web page, like using inside of your real life. I don't know. I just want to explore it. Like,
Okay. Yeah. It's we need to gradually get there in terms of understanding what the technologies are, what they can do, and how we can invent use cases around them. Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure.
I
Okay.
have a question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I don't know if it's too
Yes.
noisy here.
Go.
Okay, so like my question is one question. I think I also want to understand, like MJ, the difference between Ethereum especially and Cardano, because I found some good projects, and let's say they are in Ethereum. And what if we want to collaborate and do another project? We want to launch something within well-being together, and then we are like, okay, which technology is going to be used? Like they are building in Ethereum, we are building in Cardano, and
I think the short answer is you're going to have both for a long time, for a few years, especially because Ethereum is becoming what I think. There's another one called XRP that a few years ago everyone said it's going to be the banking currency and the banks are going to use it to exchange. I think Ethereum is becoming so institution controlled that Ethereum is going to fulfill what they said XRP was going to be. And so it's not going to go away, even if it has hacks, even if people are losing millions and everything. Yeah, so we need to get used to the cross-chain need, to the, what do they call it? Interoperability, they call it, right? So you have Polkadot, for example, which is a blockchain that's trying to work a lot on bridges. And it's going to be a challenge. Seeing it from the Cardano standpoint, currently we have one side chain, which is Milkomeda, and Milkomeda is able to work with EVM, which is the technology coming from Ethereum, right? So that's one of the things that if you want to be between both, maybe you want to look into that. But I would say for today, let's just stick to getting to know things a bit. And yeah, because you need to understand a bit what the blockchains are. For example, today we're going to, if we have time, look into the mainnet, testnet, and all those differences. So that helps you understand what's the difference between Cardano mainnet or a side chain or bridging to Ethereum. But we're not going to be able to do all of that today, okay? And it's very important. I think I'm liking a lot that you have questions, because if you keep pulling the thread, I'm happy to keep sharing a bit more, okay?
You probably have a bunch of questions, Lucas. Maybe you are gonna get bored from us, you know?
No, that's fine. It's what I like to do is workshop. It's not just give lessons. So I'm not concerned about the recording for YouTube or the topics that I had planned to show. It's this type of work that I like to do. Okay. But I did want to get through with my presentation here, just to start introducing myself and what we want to do in this course. So let me share my screen again. I'm still struggling a bit with Ubuntu because I have a lot of desktops and I keep throwing windows around. There we go. So one thing that I am going to do in 45B is sort of this landing page called Crypto123. It's going to be crypto123.45b.io. Doesn't exist at all today, but this is the draft for it. I'm just going to make this not strict over. Yeah, that's good. So the goal of this course is going to be more hands-on, so it's the get off zero and exchange crypto with friends, browse the Web3. This is the focus of our course. But I wanted to show you this just to widen your horizon a bit to why, in the same reason here, why Bitcoin, here, why crypto in general, and how can you help other people, and how I'm trying to help you value what's happening here. So the first point is what we're going to do: exchange with friends, browse the Web3. And for that, we're going to be using this type of thing where we're going to create our addresses, and we're going to give our address. We're going to make a note of our addresses here. And from there, we can send transactions to each other. That's what I've been doing here. I even made two teams, the green team and the pink team, and etc. And also, to practice that, we have all these tick boxes that you can say, okay, I've done it, and that's it. So coming back to my notes, browsing the Web3 has to do with something that I wanted to show you here. A lot of windows, as you can see. So recently I did this presentation. You can have, the video is, the links are all through that document, but I just wanted to show you in a flash some things. This was a Web3 introduction where I was showing people how to navigate JPEG Store, for example, in a very simple way. And here you have a link for the adoption. As you know, there's going to be a curve of adoption for crypto and Bitcoin, and we're still just getting up from like 2%, 5% of people have heard or understand crypto. So that in the coming years is going to have a lot of time to grow. And you can see here some notions of what the blockchain, some key elements of the blockchain's working. So it's encrypted, it's immutable, where things that go into the blockchain cannot be changed because everything is entangled one block after the other. There's the tokenization, a bit what MJ was talking about, how we can represent real assets to tokenized assets, or real art becoming a tokenized version of it. There's the decentralization and distribution, which has to do a bit with performance and security. Okay, now from the web, this was just a bit of common sense on the blockchain, and you can see this presentation in full through the link. But I just wanted to show you a bit what we can explore. Currently in Cardano, we have, I think, a lot of these, maybe not social tokens, but the communities are a bit social tokens as well. So NFTs have to do with the art, the collectibles, membership cards, and everything. A number of links that I had here were, for example, OpenSea is the NFT market for Ethereum. And when I did this presentation, I was still agnostic in terms of blockchain. So I do have a lot of things here from the Ethereum world, but I may redo this document and record a new presentation with just Cardano-centric platforms. So media and streaming, so this is Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, they're all going to be impacted with the possibility of content being organized in NFTs, and clients or users pay with micropayments, which is something that I'm also mentioning somewhere exactly there. So this is going to change the business models. So if you don't have to pay a subscription for your Spotify because you're paying per the minute you're listening in a Satoshi or something, or in a Lovelace, yeah, it's going to change publicity and everything. Decentralized finance has to do with borrowing, loaning, security, insurances, I mean, where you can have, here you have, for example, oracles that complement the blockchain with real live data. So if you allow what oracles do that allow us to bring the temperature in a certain GPS coordinate, or the amount of rain for a coordinate, with decentralized finance, you can make a crypto insurance where a farmer makes a crypto insurance that if it rains more and it ruins his crop, he gets paid an insurance for his crop. So all of this can be automated in the blockchain and will gradually become more common. Okay, so that has to do with DeFi. That's why I was mentioning insurances. GameFi is the playful version of DeFi, and also it has another dynamics of users, user engagement, I mean. Social tokens are everything that's like associations, the fans of football clubs and all those things are going to be able to create their own currencies and tokens. And so that exists already for a number of clubs. It's mostly happening on Binance and some other platforms that are very centralized, but it's a matter of time until it starts becoming more on-chain. Metaverse, you've heard a lot of it, but it's a bit of the GameFi applied in 3D and everything, with virtual land plots and all those things. DAOs, you know what they are, just people working together and collaborating around tokenomics and whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, with no hierarchies usually. I mentioned this, so these are just some companies that hold your files, that bridge information, what I call picks and shovels. So they're not core blockchains, but they are orbiting and providing services to blockchains, bridging a bit things. Then you have real world economic problems like supply chain, where currently things are still in silos. Information is in silos, so it's hard to bridge. And solutions like VeChain or others are going to be able to record and track assets flowing through supply chains in a more efficient way. And you have central bank digital currencies, which is going to be how most people are going to learn about crypto. They don't like Bitcoin, they don't like Cardano, they don't want to learn about crypto. But when the government tells them, now you need to use the crypto euro to pay your taxes, and we're going to be able to track what you do with it, then people are going to know in the bad way what crypto is. So it's important to keep an eye on this as well. Here we're talking a bit more of the non-financial applications, meaning that a bit like the supply chain, it's not necessarily money that we're sending around. It's just information of this asset went through all the shipping and it was tagged here, and then it went to another location, etc. So like I said, it's automatic information that gets bridged through the smart contracts and all the mechanisms that we create, and it's going to have a potential to impact all these industries. Okay, so this is really just the 5-minute version of why is Web3 relevant. Okay, you can see this document in detail. I didn't present it in much more detail than I'm doing here, but I'm certainly going to try to improve it. So let me just come back to my notes. So that was this part here. Now, in terms of second step to knowing why crypto may be relevant is to know about regular money. In here, I'm not going to open any links, but I recommend that you take a look at this documentary that shows you a bit what money really is, how money has been handled, how governments have been maintaining it over centuries. And yeah, this is a whole rabbit hole of its own. And it's very important that we go a bit down that rabbit hole that has nothing to do. For example, now I'm listening to an interview of 90 minutes about the IMF. It has nothing to do with crypto. It's just, what is the IMF? When was it established? What does it do? What has been its impact on other countries' economies? So this is something that I think, like I say here, you should open your mind a bit to wanting to understand these things, even if on a overall level, because it's going to help you value a bit like I was showing there. What is the difference between all this system that is set up and this new system? So it's not just numbers, it's a lot of reasons and history as well. Okay. This third one is a lot easier to show, so I'm going to open some links there. So this is just, don't think up in your mind, if you're showing someone that crypto exists, don't just think up in your mind, what is crypto? By the way, how much minutes do you have? How much time do you have? You see a counter on your Zoom?
4 minutes.
Okay, so I'm just going to try to finalize this presentation. Then we can come back to the session to do the wallet creation and everything, okay? Let me know if the time is running out so just so I don't cut my presentation in middle.
If you want, we can close it and come back again.
I'm just going to finish this paragraph here and then we come back. Okay. So see where crypto is at today. So this again is what I'm going to do with a landing page, where I'm just going to create all this content into a page and put these links in there for people to explore. And I recommend that you look at a 10-year chart of Bitcoin, see how companies are trading crypto, not pure crypto, but they are being traded in the stock exchange, and how many institutions are on board. And if we take a look at those links, here is something that it's like you can look at it for a second, or you can lose like 1 hour exploring and traveling in this, because if you see, for example, here what happened on this bull run and peak and going into bear market, you can see that Bitcoin was worth 1,000 and then it came all the way back down to 200, right? So it's important that if you double click, it zooms out. It's important that you understand the history of the prices, and note that the scale is going 10x every line. It's going to be 10x more valuable than before. Then we have here this company, for example, that creates stock products in the stock exchange, which are basically Bitcoin, Chainlink, Decentraland, Ethereum, all the Solanas. I don't know if we have Cardano in there. And here we have companies that are in the stock market as well. And in their balance sheet, they own this much Bitcoin, valuing all these things. Okay, so this is just something that you can take a look on topic 3 of why you should get into crypto, why you should learn about crypto. Okay. And okay, so any questions on that part before we have just 2 minutes? It's interesting.
I like it so far. Like, yeah, I just wanted to see, like, it's the first time I'm joining. I wanted, if it would be interesting. Yeah, I'm interested. All the terms I've been hearing around, and like, I was questioning all this, but had no time to go and research, and maybe no interest. But now it's interesting. I will come and learn all those things. I'm excited.
Very good. I'm very happy to see your excitement. For me, it's been like 2 years listening to things around and gathering like those green and red things that I'm doing. Just last week I started, or a few days I started doing that, and I'm just trying to condense the information and now give you this 1, 2, 3 approach that's going to help touch some points in
It's a great curation. Yeah, all the things, like where you should start and then what you should learn. I like
cool. Okay, so let's just close the session for a few minutes, maybe give it 5 minutes. I'm not sure how Zoom works, and we come back in to do the practical part. Okay, see you in a bit.